Fundraising is one of the most critical activities in a startup's journey, but too many founders treat it as an ad hoc activity, sending emails here and there, hoping for responses, and praying for a lucky break. The reality is that fundraising is not luck. It's a process, and more specifically, it's a sales process. Instead of selling products, you're selling equity. You're inviting investors to buy a stake in your company in exchange for capital and ideally strategic partnership. Just like sales, success comes not from sheer volume, but from targeting the right prospects, qualifying them carefully, and guiding them through a funnel. Building an investor pipeline ensures you're approaching fundraising systematically, tracking outreach, managing introductions, and optimizing follow ups. Treat it like customer acquisition with discipline, data, and persistence, and you'll dramatically improve your odds of success. There are three reasons why building an investor pipeline matters so much. The first is that fundraising is fundamentally a sales process. You're selling equity. That means you need a structured pipeline just like a sales team uses a CRM. Without it, outreach becomes random, messy, and inefficient. With it, every step, from the first touch to closing a term sheet, is tracked and managed. The second is quality over quantity. Many founders mistakenly think fundraising is a numbers game. They believe if they pitch enough VCs, someone will say yes. But volume without targeting wastes time and erodes credibility. The real key is identifying the right investors, those who align with your stage, sector, and vision. One right investor is worth more than 50 bad fits. The third is the power of a systematic approach. Building a pipeline helps you manage warm introductions, track conversion rates, and optimize your messaging. It professionalizes your fundraising and shows investors you are organized and disciplined, qualities they look for in founders. In essence, your investor pipeline is your fundraising CRM. It's the system that ensures you're not leaving opportunities to chance, but running the process with precision. The foundation of a strong pipeline is sourcing the right investors. Not every VC is a fit for every company. The goal is to match your stage, your sector, and your story with their investment thesis. The first rule is match your stage. If you're raising a seed round, focus on funds that actively write seed checks. Don't waste time pitching growth stage investors who only invest at Series B or later. Each stage has its own investor profile and expectations. The second is sector focus alignment. Many VCs specialize. Some focus on SaaS, others on health tech, fintech, or consumer goods. Aligning with investors who know your industry pays off. They bring not only capital, but also networks, insights, and credibility that generic investors cannot provide. The third is to study past investments. Analyze portfolios to understand their thesis, their check sizes, and their success patterns. If they've backed startups like yours before, they're more likely to see the value in your business. Finally, leverage research tools. Platforms like Crunchbase, PitchBook, and AngelList give you deep visibility into investor behavior. You can see who's writing checks, what size, and where warm introduction paths exist. Great fundraising starts with great targeting. The sharper your list, the stronger your pipeline. Once you've identified potential investors, the question becomes, how do you reach them? There are two main approaches: warm introductions and cold outreach. Warm introductions are by far the most effective. Being introduced by a trusted connection, whether it's a founder they funded, an industry advisor, or a respected angel investor, immediately gives you credibility. Conversion rates here are often 10 times higher than with cold outreach. Warm intros shorten timelines and increase trust because investors rely heavily on their networks. But don't dismiss cold outreach. Done well, it can work. The key is personalization. Research each investor deeply. Mention their recent investments, highlight why your startup fits their thesis, and keep the message short. The initial ask should be simple, usually just a request for a quick call, not a full pitch. What never works is generic mass emails. Spro and pray outreach destroys your reputation before you even build it. Fundraising is about precision, not volume. Cold outreach that shows you've done your homework can succeed, but warm introductions should always be your first choice. The rule of thumb: warm opens the door. Cold works if it's personalized and respectful. Just like a sales funnel, your investor pipeline has layers. At the top is a broad list of research targets, and as you progress, the list narrows to serious conversations and final negotiations. The funnel typically looks like this. At the base, you have 50 to 100 research targets. These are VCs you've identified as potential fits based on stage, sector, and portfolio analysis. From there, you narrow to 20 to 30 investors with whom you've secured meaningful conversations or meetings. This is where you test your pitch, refine your story, and gauge interest. Finally, you aim for 5 to 10 advanced conversations, investors who are truly engaged, asking for deeper diligence, and moving toward a term sheet. Managing this funnel requires tools. Professional founders don't track their outreach in random spreadsheets. They use Airtable, HubSpot, or Affinity to monitor status, schedule follow-ups, and analyze bottlenecks. These tools turn fundraising into a process rather than chaos. The beauty of the funnel is that it gives you clarity. You always know where you stand, how many investors are in play, and what you need to do next to move forward. Beyond the pipeline itself, there are best practices that separate successful fundraisers from those who struggle. The first is start from strength. Never begin fundraising when you're desperate. Begin when your story, metrics, and traction are strong. Investors back momentum, not just ideas. If you look like a winner, you'll attract capital. The second is build relationships early. Don't wait until you need money to meet investors. Cultivate relationships months in advance. Share updates, milestones, and progress. That way, when you are ready to raise, they already know and trust you. The third is persistent but respectful follow-up. Fundraising often requires multiple touches, but there's a fine line between persistence and annoyance. The best approach is to follow up with value, updates on new traction, new buyers, or customer wins, while respecting the investor's process. Finally, think partnership, not transaction. Investors aren't just check writers. The best ones become advisors, connectors, and allies. Treat them as long-term partners who bring expertise and networks, not just money. This mindset creates alignment and stronger relationships. Professionalism, patience, and respect go a long way. Fundraising is about building trust as much as it is about raising capital. Building an investor pipeline is about discipline. It transforms fundraising from a chaotic scramble into a professional process. It ensures you're targeting the right investors, approaching them strategically, and managing the funnel systematically. The rules are clear. Treat fundraising like sales. Focus on quality over quantity. Source investors who match your stage and sector. Prioritize warm introductions, but use personalized cold outreach when necessary. Manage your funnel with professional tools and always know where you stand. Above all, remember that investors are not just sources of capital. They are potential partners. The relationships you build now will shape your company for years to come. By treating them with respect, communicating with clarity, and running a professional process, you dramatically increase your odds of success. The ultimate takeaway is this: fundraising isn't about luck, it's about process. Build your pipeline with the same care you build your product, and you'll not only raise capital, you'll build relationships that fuel long-term growth.